you have to find your lane, right? My lane is not your lane, and your lane is not mine. There is no cookie cutter cut out to be a teacher, right? Just be real with these kids. Like, don't sugarcoat anything.
In those spaces, yes, they probably do.
Exactly.
But publicly, they're not talking about that on their own.
Sheesh.
Welcome back to Talking Business Over Brunch. We got Dr. Morrow in the building.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yo, it's so crazy because we came to your school.
Yes.
And we was there with who? The Success Center?
Yeah.
The Success Center.
Okay.
And as we leaving out, I just seen some people in the office, right? And I was like, we gonna introduce ourselves. And when we walked in there, they was like, who are you guys? And we started telling them, they was like, nah, you gotta go see Dr. Morrow. Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
The lady left. And she was taking it a long time. So we was like, all right, we getting ready to go. And as we was walking out the door, she's like, no, where you going? You gotta come back.
Yes.
She's like, y'all gotta come back. You gotta meet Dr. Morrow.
Yeah. She came looking for me, and I was like, yeah, just bring them by so I can meet everybody.
So tell them what you do.
So I am a marketing teacher. I teach marketing entrepreneurship, and I'm also an adjunct where I teach MBA classes online, but I've been teaching high school for 17 years. I know. 17 years. 17. This was like a 1 year plan for me to turn into 17 years.
A little more than half my life.
It's like, man, that time is going by so fast, though.
But I feel like when you're a teacher, you gain a different type of love for.
You do, and there are different components of learning. Relationships are very critical in what I do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're a little too critical because sometimes there's certain things that I don't want to know. But, as a teacher, as an educator, you're the parent, you're the nurse, you're the counselor, you're the doctor.
Oh my God,
you're everybody.
So, let me ask you this. Did you get your PhD after you started teaching, or did you already have it and going into it knowing this is what I want to do?
No, so after. So none of my degrees are in education. Okay. If that makes any sense. No. I had no desire to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. It was literally a 1 year plan until I could get out of finance to decide what I wanted to do. But I kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, okay, I can keep doing this. And then it just kept going and going, and those years kept adding up.
So you had your doctorate already?
Yes. Well, I got my doctorate in 2019.
Okay. So you were teaching before you got your doctorate?
Yes. I had my master's before I started teaching.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I teach. Mm-hmm. I started teaching. I teach college students. Sophomores, juniors, seniors. I teach leadership and professional development, right?
Okay.
Like you, I have my master's, and I went into it thinking so the thought was I got laid off. I was in tech. I got laid off. I was doing recruiting, and I was just but before recruiting, I was doing business development, business consulting, business strategy, all of that. And both of my degrees are in business. So I'm I gotta find a way to make myself more credible. And everybody's you got 2 degrees. Why?
It's not that simple.
I'm
it's not that simple.
It doesn't just work that way, right? And because I wanted to do consulting outside for myself, I'm I have to find a way to make myself more credible. And I went in, and my professor was why don't you come and get into academia? And I was but that is a way to be more credible. And so I was I'm gonna try it. But now the love that I have for it is I don't care what I do, where I go in this life, I still want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Because you're touching so many lives, and you really don't understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. The kids don't realize the impact that you have on them, but in actuality, it's the impact that they have on you.
But I think they do, some of them.
Some, but I think a lot of them realize it after the fact.
I'm dealing with mostly college kids. High school, I don't think they won't realize the impact that they make until later down.
And college, they're there because they want to be there. High school, they're there because they have to be there. Yeah. So that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I was doing some research last night. And so one of the things I need to know, your students did 100,000 views for their final. They had to get 100,000 views in order to get, what was the, like, they not get a final?
So that was their final exam. Because we were breaking into the whole TikTok thing and they weren't doing TikTok challenge. So they got 100,000 views, they got a 100. They got 90,000, they got a 90. They got 50,000, they got 50. So it's a marketing class. Like, you gotta figure out how to market yourself and how to market this TikTok. So yeah.
What was the grade?
They got a 90. And that was like right when COVID hit, it was crazy.
That was a dope challenge. But when I seen it last night, I was like,
So the rules were however many views they get, that's the grade. And they don't have to do the final.
That was it.
Oh wow.
That was my third level. So I teach 3 different levels of marketing. So marketing principles, marketing entrepreneurship, and marketing management. And typically marketing management is mostly seniors, but some juniors.
Right.
So at that point, you've been with me for 3 years. You know the content.
That's good. Yeah.
You've done all the work.
Right.
So yeah.
So let me just say, when I was in high school, we didn't have, first of all, I don't even remember one teacher being a doctor. Let me start there. In high school, there's not one teacher that I had or that was in that building that I would say doctor or whatever.
Oh wow.
So when I saw that, I was just like, doctor, is she not at the university? Like, it threw me off. But then the other part of it is, we never had business courses in high school. Is that like
That's crazy.
new?
So,
but it might be a southern thing because what I will say is moving to the south down 10 years to Atlanta, coming from New York, there's a big difference.
big difference.
In the way that high school especially, is structured. And so, is that like?
So I'm from Alabama, Tuskegee originally, born and raised.
Did you go to?
No, so crazy. I went to Albany State.
What?
My whole family went to Tuskegee. I was recruited by Tuskegee, but they only wanted to give me a partial.
I think the Tuskegee people will be real mad at that.
No, but
they get real serious about their HBCUs.
Yes, love my HBCU. But no, we had business classes where you could take FBLA.
In high school?
Yes, like Future Business Leaders of America. We never had marketing. So when I started teaching in 2006, and they were like, hey, we have a marketing program.
I graduated high school in 2007.
Oh, wow. So yeah, they told me about marketing. I was like, sign me up. So I went, got certified, took the test, and here I am.
That's crazy. But when we came there, I didn't know they were your students at the time, but they were at the Success Center event that we were. They know what they want.
Yeah.
And to know that, I wish at that age I knew exactly what I wanted and how to get there.
Well, we're still trying to figure it out for some of us.
Man, so I want to know, right? You do this thing where you bring in, I guess, once a week?
So right now, twice, maybe 4 days out the week. But it used to be, so out of 180 days of instruction, I average between 150 and 175 a year. But that's because I would have multiple speakers in one day. And it was like clockwork. But because where I am now is so far out, it's a little bit harder. But, I mean, people that are willing to come and want to come will come. So I'm not worried.
Right.
That's good. She got some big names. She had some big names come through. I seen the dudes that's from support black colleges. Jeremy Anderson, De'Ara, Paul Dunn, Jazzy Faye, T.I. You had some big names come through the door.
It's been good.
But for high school, to have those kind of big names come through the door, it's like, who's not taking your class?
So I look at it like this. I want to provide these opportunities to students that they'll never have in their lifetime. And
I've never had one of those.
Social media has killed reality. So these kids believe everything they see on social media. So my thing is, no matter who I bring in there, they're going to believe what they say before they believe what I say. Because I'm the teacher to them. But these people are living the life that they attain to have. So it resonates different with them.
That's very true. But how do you, 17 years in, how do you build those relationships? Because right now I'm in the path that I'm trying to make it to the path that you've already done. So now this is like a learning moment for me too. But not for just me. I'm sure there are other people out there who, want to learn how to build those connections. And I seen a thing that you did where De'Ara came through and, surprised her, brought like I think the project was like to write them a PR letter. And how do you even get them to like really lock in and do that?
So I'll start with De'Ara. It was an actual class assignment where they had to write a professional business letter to the brand, company, celebrity of their choice, talking about how they admire the product. They gave like a testimonial in the letter. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the closing, they were like, hey, we're in a competition to see who can hear back the fastest or, receive any type of PR packages. And of course, 1 week will go by. We've heard back from Pink, from Victoria's Secret, Mary Kay, different brands. And I'm talking about these kids that get like whole packages. Like this girl got a whole Pink warm up, socks, a beanie, everything. Yeah. So she wrote her letter to De'Ara. And
she was one of the people in the Success Center thing.
I love her. She's so sweet. She was so deserving of it. So what ended up happening, her publicist, I'm assuming, sent me an email. It was like, hey, Dr. Morrow, we got this letter. She was so impressed. She wanted to personally deliver the PR package. And I was like, that would be amazing. So I communicated with my kids on social media. So I went to our Instagram page. And I was like, hey, if anybody sees Lauren, tell her to get in contact with me right away. So by this time, I didn't hear back from Lauren because I was at a conference. And I got another email. It was like, hey, no, let it be a surprise. So time went on, and we had a date set, and she literally came in, and the way it was set up, I introduced her guest that was with her as the speaker for the day. So she was like, well, my name is such and such, but I want to know who's Lauren, because that was my student's name.
I seen some people knew who she was, though.
They knew who she was. And Lauren is just standing there because she has no clue. She didn't know who she was. Mm-hmm. She was literally just standing there like, what's going on? And then that's when she came out from the back room and surprised her, and the kids just went crazy, and she went crazy. And she started crying, and I started crying. I was like, oh, this is such a proud moment. That's all from a letter.
But so how do you yourself build these relationships where you get these speakers to even come in, or you 17 years in?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And I was talking to a teacher today. It's interesting because you have to find your lane, mm-hmm. right? My lane is not your lane, and your lane is not mine. Mm-hmm. There is no cookie cutter cut out to be a teacher, right? And I've had people to approach me over the years wanting to do the same things that I do, but it's always, how do you get in contact with a celebrity? That's not how I started. Right. My first year bringing in a speaker, I brought in 3 speakers in 1 year, and these were my friends from college. Mm. And I saw how receptive they were to the process. I was like, oh, I might have something going here. And it just kind of grew. Mm. But the celebrities didn't come off the rip, like.
And I think that's where people get confused, right?
Yes.
With anything in business or success, right? And that goes into the purpose of this podcast, right? So
they think it happens on
people come and they think like the fast lane mm-hmm. is gonna always be that the route, and it's just like
it's not.
I've been in this 10 years struggling. I had 9 years of struggle and 1 year of success, and you wanna I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where it's like you gotta find your way. Like you have to find your, like you said, your own lane and really stick to it. Like me, I know business, right? Mm-hmm. I went to school for business. In my mind, since I was a kid, I literally always, I dreamed of having my own house with one of my rooms set up as an office. I literally envisioned this since I was a kid. Right. And it wasn't until, 2 years ago that I was, probably like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that I got to a place where I can have my apartment, have a second room as an office, you know what I'm saying? And really somebody came in the other day, they was like, yo, you got like a real whole setup in here. I'm like, not thinking of it as I'm putting it together, like, cause I don't go in there buying, right. Yo, let me get 6 TV screens. I need to I didn't go, you know what I'm saying? I just as time went on, I need things. I build things out in my head, so I put them in there. Then it's just like, now that it's there and it's all together, you would think I use it.
Well, see, I tell people all the time, you see the glory, but don't know the story.
But so that's the purpose of this podcast, right? Because the goal of it is, I want to bring people in to talk about that, because you get these people, celebrities for the most part, they come in, they don't tell you the grit behind what went into how they got to that point, right? They talking about how much money they got, how much cars they got, how much. We don't care about that.
Well, I will say my speakers, excuse me, all of them have been very transparent, and that's the one thing I say. Just be real with these kids. Like, don't sugarcoat anything.
In those spaces, yes, they probably do.
Exactly.
But publicly, they're not talking about that on their own, right? And they're not. They a lot of them make it hard to even. I get it, you're a celebrity, you got a busy schedule, but sometimes you got to take the time out and like reach back and be like,
so let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's go.
So. People see the end result, obviously. You see the people showing up, but you don't see the groundwork and the grit that goes in to get these people. Like, I'll send out every Monday 100, 125 emails. Woo. Every Monday.
That's a job in itself.
That's a job in itself. I may hear, right, cold calls, basically. I may hear from 2 people, if that. So it varies, and it's like I'm constantly trying to build this program, and because, like I said, I'm 17 years in, it has been incredible because a lot of these people I've met from other people, or that have referred them to me, or they saw them talking to my class on social media, like, hey, I want to do the same thing. They reached out that way. I've had some amazing publicists that have got me in contact with their clients, and it's been a lot from relationship building on my part. Just from people that I've been rocking with when they first started their career to now. Right. So it's been a blessing, but it's a lot of work.
Of course.
It's a lot of work.
And every day, even with like me doing this podcast, right? Like I said, I know business. Yeah. But I'm not in every industry, right? I can tell you about the industries that I know, and that's it. But for my audience, it's like, how can I grab these people to say, all right, here's a lane. I'm gonna bring you this person from this industry, this person from this industry, and let's talk about it. Because I can talk to you about marketing today, her about marketing tomorrow, me about marketing.
But what are you gonna do with the information now that you have it? That's the challenge that I run into all the time. It's like these speakers come in and drop major jewels on these kids, but what are you doing with that knowledge?
Right.
Once you have it, other than taking a photo.
I think that. So they're in high school, right? They don't know what their purpose is just yet. Some of them may, some of them may not. It took me, I'm 34 right now, and I'm just now figuring out what my purpose is.
And that's okay.
Right. And so at that age, I don't know that they know what their purpose is. And so the information, they're obtaining it, but do they see past this is a celebrity and I'm in the same room?
So I think the beauty of it, I do a project, right? This is their final exam. They have to create a business from the bottom up. So I give them the rubric at the beginning of the school year when they receive their syllabus. It's their business, whatever they create, their choice. They have to do everything from a logo.
Can we, hold on, black on the black. Black on the black. Okay. Did we have a syllabus in high school?
Syllabus.
In high school?
Yes, you probably had a syllabus.
It was probably not college one, but yes, it was a syllabus.
Shalia, you're making this up. We went to the same high school.
We had a syllabus.
We never had a syllabus in high school.
We had a syllabus.
I didn't even know the word syllabus until I got
to college. We had a syllabus.
Yes, there's a syllabus.
Find me one. Find me one that you had from high school.
My high school days go, bro.
They have a syllabus. But anyway, so I give them the rubric. They create, the business plan, the website, and they actually sell a tangible product at the end. And the profit is theirs. The only requirement for the grade is they have to sell a minimum of 5 products. They can be 5 of the same, it could be 5 different, it doesn't matter. But they make the profit. I've had kids to make $800 in a day. And that's when the light bulb goes off. But because we work on it throughout the year, some of the things that I'm teaching them, they're hearing it from the speaker. So it's like, oh, Dr. Morrow just said that in class last week. So now you want to believe the speaker, and I'm just telling you. But so it's different. It hits them differently.
I mean, I think that goes for. I think that's just a human behavior.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Because growing up, my mother would tell me something.
Yeah.
I could be with a partner and they could tell me something, and it goes over my head.
Yep.
My friend would call me up and say the same exact thing, but probably a little more rude about it.
Yeah.
And I'm a hearer, right? So, especially at that age, like I don't see. I don't think they're trying to be rebellious, but I don't feel like their minds are not catching up until they hear from the celebrity.
These kids nowadays are fighting against the grain.
Of course.
I mean, there's so many distractions. It's so many, like, peer pressure is real. Mm-hmm. And it's probably more prevalent now than ever before because of social media. Mm-hmm. So these kids are seeking validation. They want to fit in. Yeah. They want to be a part of something. That part. So me bringing in these speakers and letting them hear is saying, not only does Dr. Morrow care about you and your success and what you're going to be, mm-hmm. but this person literally just drove an hour and a half to come talk to your class. And I didn't pay them a dime. That part. So look at how much money they just missed out on because they took the time out of their schedule to come here. So people do care and value you. People see you. Mm-hmm. Even if your own parents don't.
So I got a question. So, do you do anything outside of teaching?
Like, in terms of
like entrepreneurship.
She might depend on what you're asking.
No, like entrepreneurship, like any other business.
So I was doing like contracting work to help people build their small businesses. Okay. But between that and being yes. Okay.
So let me ask you this: in that space, do you ever feel like you had to deal with imposter syndrome?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because it's almost like you have to be. You're looked at under a microscope, especially me in my profession. I know I'm great at what I do, but I also have to remain humble and realize that there are people that look up to me. Mm-hmm. People see me even if I don't think that they're looking at me. Right. So it's like I have to be the best of the best. I have to wear the best of the best or look a certain way or post a certain item or, because people look. I didn't experience jealousy until I was an adult. And I've always been tall, light skinned with long hair. Really? It didn't hit me. And my mom was like, girl, where you been? Because in my mind,
moms always know.
Moms always know.
Moms know.
But in my mind, it's like, you can do the same thing that I'm doing. Yeah. You can do the same thing. I'll never forget them to be kids. But when T.I. came and talked to my class, the teachers hated me. Like, literally resented me. They're like, how did you get him to come? Nobody has ever seen him because his kids went to the school for 4 years. And I was like, I just asked. And literally that's all I did was just ask him. He was like, anything I can do for you, let me know. I said, perfect. Actually, you can come and talk to the class. And that was it. But people envied me so badly. But I tell people, I don't bring these people into the building for you. Mm-hmm. I bring these people in the building for these kids. So I don't seek your approval.
I feel like it might be a situation where they want that relationship that they think that you're getting with this artist or this celebrity that they want.
But I have to tell people, and this is not cocky, and there'll never be another Dr. Morrow. Ever.
Y'all heard that?
I mean, I'm so serious, and that's why I'm so adamant about staying in your lane. Like, you can do this.
I mean, not in high school.
But I'm a people person. I'll talk to
they bring
extroverted. It's about relationships.
I feel like colleges usually bring a lot of people, celebrities, but that's because either the person went there or family history at that school a lot of times. Not all the time, but for high school to bring as much.
Those people are paying them. I'm not paying any of these.
Well, no, not really. Not all the time.
Okay.
I think so. I feel like in Atlanta.
Right.
Atlanta, I feel like these celebrities come to these schools because they want to. Right? Because there's times where, and this is even as a student on Clark's campus, they're celebrities. They're just walking the campus. Mm. And so at that point, I feel like they're there because they want to be there, not because someone said, hey, come, whatever. But that's also in Atlanta. I can't speak for other
Well, I will say this, and I'm very transparent with my kids. If I reach out to someone that they've requested, and the response is, "What is your budget?" I don't have a budget. I'm at a Title I school,
Right.
so they can't come because there's no money tied into it. And I let my kids know, because this is your target audience. This is who's supporting your business. It's not me, because this is something that they love.
Right.
They wanted me to reach out to you.
But not only that, it goes to, and that's something for them to see, because these same people that you want to support, they don't want to support you when it ain't no money involved.
That part. Like I said,
so can I ask that on camera?
Ask what?
You got some names on who won't come out without no money?
So I don't think I want to say the names, and I only want to say that because a lot of times I don't think that the message is coming from the person. It's coming from the publicist that's not getting the money for securing the visit. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's like, did you not want to come because I'm not paying you, or did you not want to come because she's not getting her cut? Mm-hmm. And she never gave you the message. So I look at it like that. I never thought about it like that. Mm-hmm. Everybody's trying to eat, that's all. But I have some great.
I feel like when you get things like that, right? Even if it was me on another team, and I feel like someone's reaching out to this. If you were a celebrity and I'm your part of your team, and they reaching out, and I'm saying, hey, alright, this is for a good cause. We're not doing this just alright. It ain't about the money. And I feel like that's a big part of business that people get confused. Like, people go into things for the money.
Right.
In the long run, you ain't lasting when you're chasing just the money. I chased the money before, and I ended up nowhere and miserable. I wasn't happy. I was like literally just. It was a job. Like, it was. I'm showing up here because I have to. It was almost like jail. I don't want to be in jail living every day.
But the crazy thing is, when they come before me, like, these people are so appreciative that somebody even reached out to them, which I think is absurd to me. Like, why aren't more people reaching out for you all to come back and speak to their classes and to give back to the community? Right. So they're always so elated, like, oh my God, thank you for inviting me. I'm so honored to be here. No, we are honored to have you.
So I know you said they hated you because you had all celebrities come. But so let me ask this. Has there ever been a relationship that you've created with someone as a speaker, right? And shared them with the other teachers?
So I've opened up some of my speaker, because I considered my speaker series. When I was at my other school, we did a taping for the Housewives of Atlanta. And so I had to get that approved through the county, had to have the county's attorney to verify everything, had to sign waivers, the whole nine. I'm a behind the scenes person. I love my kids to get their shine. I never wanted to be on TV, so they wanted me to introduce them. I declined, so I got my superintendent at the time to do it. So I invited the teachers, I invited other students. I don't need that.
I'm saying that because if you were requested, it's not like you're like, hey, pick me.
No, I thought it was more appropriate for my superintendent to be up there than me. Because I don't want you to know that I put it on. It didn't matter. I don't do it for the recognition.
And that's the thing. A lot of people do things for recognition.
Right. And I don't. So when I bring people in, it was to the point where I was taking your requests. Like, who do you want me to reach out to? Like I said, my mom was a huge Tyler Perry fan, The Have and Have Nots. Love that show.
I watched it like one half of it.
Oh my God, we were obsessed. So Catherine Cryer, my mom wanted her, and she wanted Angela Robinson, who played Veronica. She wanted her. And at this time, my mom drove up from Alabama.
The fact that mom is making requests.
She drove up from Alabama to see Veronica, Angela, speak to my class. And Angela was so humble. So I ended up seeing her at another event, a private screening for something. And she was just like, it's so great to see you again. She keeps up with me on social media. It's just a vibe. It's just a spirit, to have the discernment.
It gotta be in you, not on you.
That part. That part.
It gotta be in you, not on you.
But yeah, it's been an amazing journey. The relationships that I have built and sustained, it's been great.
And 17 years ago, you never decided, hey, I want to be a teacher. But look at all that you've done in that.
Yeah.
Like, people think you got to be a basketball player. You got to be in some type of something to
make a difference.
To make a difference. Yep. So it's like you make a difference and still meeting being in the same rooms as the people that it's like. And you bring it to yourself.
And that's what I was telling them. I was like, I do this for y'all because I can pick up the phone and call some of these people and be like, hey, excuse me, let's go out to dinner or something. Let's go out to lunch. Like, I don't do this for me. I do this for you. Because I want you to realize there's so much life out here other than this small little community that you live in.
It was a song. I'm trying to think of a song. I forget. I don't want to spend time on it, but going into something else I saw. So, you said you got, what are your degrees in?
So my bachelor's is in business management. Mm-hmm. My master's is in management and human resources. And my doctorate is in business administration.
Say that again.
Business management, management and human resources, and business administration.
That's so crazy. So my
I'm a teacher.
My undergrad is business administration management.
Oh wow.
My MBA is business administration marketing.
Oh wow.
And my work history is business consulting and HR recruiting. And so here I am. Like I said, I got laid off, and I was just like, I need something to do to make me. I have a vision, right? And everything that I do, I feel like needs to lead to the overall vision. I literally have this vision hanging up in my room, on my refrigerator, in my office. Everywhere I go, this vision is hanging up. Like I wrote it out so it's clear. So every day and everything that I do. So one day I was just brainstorming. I'm like, all right, this is what I've done. This is what I know how to do. How can I bridge the two together? And I started writing what goes with what and what goes with both sides.
So this is one thing that I've learned personally and something that I share with my speakers is, first off, is this a hobby or is this a business? Second, is this your purpose or is this your passion? So for me, education gave me this passion that led me to my purpose because I've tried to get out of teaching.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's great. When I lost my dad, I resigned from my job, had no idea what I was going to do. I actually signed a contract to go to China. I was going to leave my kids here, let my mom take care of my house, just send all the money here. And I have a very close friend of mine who's like my spiritual sister. She called me one night. She said, are you going to China because you want to go? Or are you going because you don't have a job? I said, I'm going because I don't have a job and I need some money to pay my bills. So she was like, no, you can't do that. So she called me like a week later. I had already applied for my visa, the whole nine. I was ready to go. She called me. She said, stop what you're doing and email these people and tell them that you're not coming. And I was like, really? So because I have faith in my friend and she has faith in me, I literally sent this email at like 8 o'clock that night and said, unfortunately, I have to decline the offer. Something came up. I can't go to China. And this is how good God is.
China's a big deal, though.
A big deal. But how amazing God is. That about 11 o'clock that night, I got an email for a job interview at my old school, and I had never applied. I had never applied. I prayed about it. I was like, God, if you want me to get out of education, open the doors. Nobody was hiring me because I was done. I was like, I'm getting out of education. And I had never applied to this school.
So
and I got an interview.
How?
By the grace of God. Took the job, was there 5 years.
Got her job.
At that time, I knew that this is my purpose. This is where I'm supposed to be.
How many years ago was that?
7.
Oh, okay.
So now the school that I'm at now, this is my 2nd year, and I just feel like I was meant to come here to help these kids. Because there's a big difference. No matter what county you go to, none of these kids are the same. You have Title I.
I'm new to the Southern school system.
So it's kind of set up like this. Title I is, I don't know the percentages, so please don't quote me, but let's just say 90% of the students are on free or reduced lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in my other county, I'm out there with students that live in $8 million homes on one side of the street, and on the other side of the street, you got $500,000 homes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and that matters. I told the teacher that today. I said, you can say what you want to say. Money matters because when you have money, you have exposure.
That's 100%.
You have exposure. Like, I mean, I love my kids now. Every time we have a break, I'm like, oh, so what did everybody do over the break? Nothing. So you stayed at home for a whole week and did absolutely nothing.
Like,
I get it. We don't know everybody's financial situation at all.
Only right now, though, because everyone's losing their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these families, even if they had money before, now we're on a tight thing because I got hit with the wave of layoffs. That was last year. I'm a year later, and I still don't have no real work. Yeah, like I said, I work at the university, but I do that because I want to do it. I do it because I like doing it. I don't do it for the money, and it's not
a lot.
There's no money in it. Right? So at the end of the day, it's like, but it makes me happy. I'm not going to get stuck in a job where I'm miserable every day.
I've had one of those.
I can't do it.
I took a massive pay cut to be a teacher, but I was miserable every day. Like, I was so unhappy. And you can't, my best friend tells me all the time, and I have other friends that make way more money. I have a friend of mine who's in finance. He makes about $250,000 a year. And his thing to me is he would trade places with me any day because he's missed the last 13 years of his childhood because all he did was work.
I don't want to be like that.
Exactly.
So that goes into the new American dream, right? I feel like the American dream that we're in now is whatever you choose it to make it.
Exactly. And you gotta do what you want to do, not what your parents want you to do.
A lot of people live that life.
Like, we gotta get out of that mentality.
That mentality is so trapping.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. This is a good question. In current day, what's the difference between branding and networking? I mean, branding and marketing. Because some people confuse the two.
Branding and marketing. For me, marketing is just putting your content out there. But what is that brand? Like, how do you associate yourself with this brand? I think, and I'll talk about this, we mentioned this earlier. We're not branding or marketing we're not marketing another person's brand. They didn't endorse this podcast, so why are you going to have their advertisement here? Mm-hmm. I tell my kids, how I introduce the content in the class the first day, I pick the student that has on the brand, right? So essentials. Mm-hmm. I call you up to the front. I say, how much did you pay for that shirt? How much did you pay? Just on average, how much did you pay for the shirt?
Me?
Yes.
I don't remember. $100?
$100. So then I asked everyone in class.
I could be wrong. Is it?
That sounds about right. But they're high.
It might be.
So then I say, everybody in class, how many people like this shirt? They raise their hand. So let's say 5 people in class raise their hand. I said, that's $500. So then I come back to you and say, you know what? You just made Essentials $500. How much did Essentials pay you to wear this shirt? And they're like, what? What do you mean? How much did they pay you to wear this shirt? So you walking around making them money based on their brand.
So let me say that. That's why when I came in, I said I had the hoodie.
Yep, you did.
I had the hoodie, and I said I'm gonna wear the hoodie. The only reason I don't have the hoodie on is because it was a little hot in here. I mean, it feels good now, but
right.
Earlier, I'm like, did you ask me why I didn't want to wear it? What? Why I wanted to wear the hoodie?
I was not following. What are we talking about?
Okay.
Branding and marketing.
Branding.
No, I heard that part. What is
So,
your question right now?
earlier, when you asked me why I'm putting a hoodie on,
I didn't ask you that.
maybe it was somebody else.
We were just talking about how it was hot here. That's why you say you was going to.
No, it might have been.
It was somebody.
That's why I really I don't remember that question.
So the reason I was wearing the hoodie is because I don't want to wear anybody's brand on the podcast. We're not paying. Why am I wearing? But that's. Mm-hmm. But so for me, marketing is a short, quick something you're putting out for a quick turnaround.
Yep.
Whereas branding is like you're in it for the long run.
Yep.
Right? And so I think people confuse the two a lot. Mm-hmm. And especially people with like, oh, I want to go into marketing, I want to go into marketing. Why do you want to go into marketing?
But what you don't see is marketing is sales. You got to crawl before you walk.
But they don't understand that. Yeah. Right? They think, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get to make some flyers.
No.
That's not marketing. I just want you to know that. But okay. Mm-hmm. If you think these graphic designers is gonna get you the spot in marketing. Yep. And so do you have to deal with that type of conversations?
In terms of with my students? Mm-hmm. So as crazy as it sounds, this is how I teach branding and marketing to them. I only wear makeup when I have a speaker. Mm-hmm. And the reason being is because I know I'm going to take a photo. Mm-hmm. I never wear the same dress twice in a school year. And I always pose the same on every single picture. Because that's the first thing when the kids look in the room and they look on the wall, they're like, Dr. Morrow, you never wear the same dress twice. I said, absolutely. Because I'm branding myself. People know me as you're the teacher. You might not know my name initially. Oh, you're Dr. Morrow, or you're the teacher because because social media is incredible, right? De'Ara has literally, I didn't realize, I'm a little bit older, but I didn't realize that De'Ara was as massive as she is.
So I didn't know that YouTubers were as massive as they are.
I mean, until insane.
My friend, we lived together and she would always be watching YouTube. Yeah. I'm like, why do you watch this? And then I would get caught in it and I'd be like, okay, I guess I can understand it. But these people are making money just showing their
lives. Crazy. But this is how this works. So because of her, and this was 2 weeks ago, I have had so many people to reach out to me wanting to come and talk to my class. We had a speaker that was a cake artist, and he didn't bring any cake to the class. Mm-hmm. And so that was a teachable moment. And I tell all of my speakers, you're not obligated to bring anything. Mm-hmm. However, this is the number of students in the class. He didn't come with anything. And the kids were like, you are a cake baker, but you didn't bring us any cake. Y'all, he came in, his wife delivered the cake the following week. The kids smashed it. And one of my students was like, see, this is the perfect example of judging a book by its cover. Because they felt he was not prepared, because you should have done the market research before you came to the class to realize what class you were entering into. Mm-hmm. But he made it up. The kids made a whole video behind it, like, he's a 10 out of 10, no competition. But it was an incredible moment, and it was such a teachable moment. Because they look at these speakers when they come in. And it's not being critical, but you didn't even wear your brand. Mm-hmm. You didn't even wear your logo on the shirt. They look at all of that because now I'm teaching them to see things from a marketing perspective. We just patronized a black-owned business, Cereal and Cream. Mm-hmm. So when they go in, they look at everything. I tell them before we got off the bus, don't look at this from a consumer perspective. Look at this from a business perspective and a marketing perspective.
That's a big thing that people, and this is everyday people. Like, you know, they don't. We'll go back.
But when we did the recap of our video, you know, everything was positive. So when we turned the video off, I said, okay, what is one thing that you noticed that was negative? And they were like, well, I noticed this right here. But the everyday person is not going to see that. Mm-hmm. So it's a proud moment for me as a teacher, because now everything that I'm teaching you is resonating with you, and it's coming.
But let me tell you how far ahead you have set them, right? Because me, myself, on top of me teaching college students, like I said, some of them can't even differentiate the difference, right? But a big thing that I stress, and I say this probably on every episode of the podcast, that as cliche as it sounds, your network is your network, because you never know who you see this man came in here, you said he didn't have his bread on, he didn't have nothing on, right? He could have been a millionaire sitting on them cakes.
Yep.
Right? And they could have went in there with like this nasty demeanor, like, oh, you didn't bring us nothing, but the whole time, oh, I couldn't bring you nothing because I'm trying to make sure that it's extra special when it comes in, and I didn't want to rush the process, right? And so it's little things like that people don't pay attention to. They don't even think about.
And then it's also those things where I don't think with some of these speakers, they don't realize what they're really getting themselves into when they come into my classroom. Because my kids are very intelligent. And I'm very strategic about the classes that I choose for each speaker. So they're asking you these marketing questions. Like, what kind of market research did you do? Who's your competitor? Oh, you don't have any competition? Why don't you have competition? Or what makes your product better from the person that's doing the same thing that you're doing? Why should I patronize your business? I mean, they're asking these questions, and it's just like, I'm sitting in the bed like, I'm so proud right now, because the light bulb is finally going off, because now they get to see it and hear it for themselves.
And it's crazy because they can come from a place of people who have no type of thought process behind those things, right? So they could be going out with their mom, their dad, whatever, and they're seeing things that the parent don't even see. You know what I mean? And
I get that a lot. I got a message the other day from a parent that commented on my post, and she was just like, I remember the stories from my daughter, and her kids are grown now.
Wow.
And, she was just so happy to see that I was still doing what I was doing. And I try to be very open and transparent with my kids as much as I possibly can, because I'm human. I make mistakes. I'm nowhere near perfect. I don't profess to be. But just knowing, I just want them to know I care.
I think that conveys in the amount of time and effort you put into the things that you've put into for them. Like I said, high school, that wasn't even a thought for me. But how long do you see yourself staying back in this?
It's the question of the hour. I get that question a lot. I don't know. That's kind of hard to say. I don't have an answer. I don't know. I'll say this. When I was going through my certification, the lady who was observing me at the time, she said, always remember, the further away you get from the kids, the more you get paid. But is that why you went into education? And that is really... So think about it. When you get out of the classroom, the teacher is the lowest paid. The teacher is the bottom of the totem pole.
I didn't even think about
It's always like that. I feel like every business or job is like that. The people at McDonald's or
the one that's making the most,
the one that's on the line from
taking customers, this and third, they getting paid pennies. While everybody else sitting up in the office twiddling their thumbs.
So think about it. The teacher's the bottom. Then you have the assistant principal. Then you have the principal. Then you have the superintendent. Well, I'm the one that's in the classroom with the kids every day. But the people that's making all the money are the people that's making the decisions. So why did you go into education in the first place? And I'm not knocking any of those positions. Because Lord knows I'm trying to move up the chain.
Do you have to be what is the process?
To be a
principal, assistant principal, superintendent. Do you have to be a teacher first?
And the crazy thing, in Georgia, the rules are totally different. But I will say for Georgia, you have to have what's called a leadership add-on to your certificate. Which means, and I learned this, I thought I was just taking a test. No. So I am currently back in school again, but I said I'll never go back to school, to get my leadership add-on.
So I was thinking to go back and do my doctorate in educational leadership.
Okay.
Initially, I was going to do my regular PhD, get a business. And I'm just like, I got 2 business degrees. I mean, what more can I learn in business that I can't learn from doing, right? I need another component. And so I was going to do educational leadership. More so because, for one, if I'm doing consulting and this and the third, and I'm teaching other people how to do it, do I really need another business degree? Not really. And so educational leadership was part. But I saw recently you did a women's entrepreneurship certification program on top of your 3 degrees.
Right.
You just want it?
So I'm a lifelong learner, right?
Everyone should be.
And everything changes. The world changes every second. And I do a lot of things because I like to implement a lot of things in my classroom. And I can't teach my kids today the same way I taught them last year, let alone 15 years ago.
Julia, was you here when we had that conversation about the disconnect between teachers and students?
Maybe I stepped out.
Not today.
Oh.
Okay.
She's
She's out of it today.
Who are you confused?
She's out of it today. Anyway,
You confused.
we had, so I teach at a university. All the professors there, they're older. They're dealing with college students who I feel like are at lightning speed, and these professors are like, and so a lot of the professors, they see me, I'm not dressing up. I don't have to be suited and booted every day.
It's not even about that.
And these students are still going to hear me before they hear you.
My first year teaching, one of my coworkers, Mr. O, love him to death, he said, I love how you entertain your kids more so than you teach them. And not in a negative way, but that was my way of reaching them. And my response to him was, I want to meet my kids where they are, not where I want them to be.
Exactly.
So I have to relate to them. And this has nothing to do with race, and I think people look at that. You always try to compare race, and that's not the case. I just want to meet my kids where they are. Like today, I literally was rushing because I just got off a field trip. Overnight field trip at the Marriott Marquis. I tell the kids, less is best, because now we have a more intimate setting, and now I can get to know you on a different level outside of school as a collective group. And they're like, oh, Dr. Morrow, I want to go on the next trip. I want to go on the next trip. It's all about relationships. Relationships are so much bigger than education.
You network.
These kids will do everything for you. And I tell them, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. I know Beyonce. Beyonce don't know me though. And we have that misconception. Right. No, it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Right. 100%. And we talked about this when I came to your school the last time, like, growing your personal brand and watching the things that you do and say and how you carry yourself. When I was younger, people would say it to me and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Anybody here doing the same thing I'm doing? You think so? Yep. Somebody in there watching.
Yep.
Somebody, and now we're at an era where people can't keep their hands off the record button on these phones. Yep. And it really grinds my gears because, you can literally take someone's life and their livelihood by the touch of a button. And it's crazy to me.
I thought we are all one decision away from ruining our entire life. 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Yep. But
what's crazy is, right, so you talked about making those connections, right? And I told my students this. The same way you feel about dresses is how I feel about my sneakers, right? And so I told them, it's very rare that you're going to see me wear the same pair of sneakers every twice, right?
And you will be surprised that students see that.
And they do.
Oh, absolutely.
Every time, you got that on today.
Absolutely.
And I just laugh, but my sneakers is how I am. That's me, right? I don't care about I could be fully suited, and I'm gonna have on me a sneaker. But the thing is, it's just like understanding when and where, right? And so
that code switching is important.
They don't know what code switching. Tell them the code switch. A lot of people don't know what code switching.
You have to know your audience. You have to know who you're talking to, the setting that it's in. Like, there's one thing on camera, we're gonna talk this way, but as soon as the camera go off, we're gonna talk another. But being able to do that, being able to change your attire, like, they make fun of me at work because when I do wear jeans, I've only worn jeans once this year. But I had no, it wasn't even jeans, it was jogging pants. I wear a dress every day. But that's my comfort level.
Yeah.
So one day I came into the school and I had on jogging pants and a t-shirt because it was homecoming week. And it was like dressed as a student. So I took advantage of it. And my principal, when I was coming out my door, he was like, Dr. Morrow, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, what do you mean? I've never seen you dressed down like this. And I'm like, I just want to relax one day. But just knowing the difference, knowing your audience, knowing who's in front of you.
Right.
So when my speakers come in, and they say, well, what do you think about this? I said, well, let me be very clear. We're very real in here. We're very transparent. So they want to know you want to know their feedback. They're going to give it to you, but it's going to be in a respectful way. Mm-hmm. So them being able to talk and that dialect, code switching between an adult and professional, whether it's based on their business, occupation, whatever the case is, just teaching them that because their parents don't even know. You got grown adults, coworkers that don't even know.
That's another conversation.
Yeah.
Because the parents, and I learned this from the pandemic, these parents, I don't know how some of them is parents.
It's tough. It's tough.
I'll be like,
it's tough.
This is what you
and that's why I'm so big on showing my kids and not just telling them that I care, but showing them that I care. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have that support system at home, that matters.
It does. It plays a big part.
Yes.
It plays a big part. Yeah, you know what's so crazy? I was watching the Jeezy and Neil interview, and he talks a lot about his mom and the relationship that he had with her and how he felt he had to do certain things because no matter what he did, he never felt like it was enough for her because she never acknowledged it. And it resonated so much with me because And it's crazy because I have a post on Instagram where I talk about that. Like, my first degree, I got it because they said I couldn't do it. Second degree, I did the same thing. This last degree, this one was for me. It was personal. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of proving to this one or that one or the world that I got this. And it's like, and I'm still finding myself doing that. And that goes back to that imposter syndrome that we were talking about earlier. Like, I have always found myself trying to get my mom's attention or get my dad's attention. It's like,
you gotta what?
For what though? Right. Like, y'all haven't done a quarter of what I have done.
That part.
And if you want to be honest, it's just like, I'm proving myself to you and you haven't even proved yourself to the world.
But we, especially as young African Americans, we have to get out of this comparison. We gotta stop comparing ourselves to other people, and we're all victims of that. We all feed into that. We all look at someone based on what they have, what they don't have. I'm like, that's not the reality of life.
I would say I used to be that person. I've done a lot of like self-healing and unlearning things that I was taught or those things that I grew up getting from people around me, right? I switched that. And in that, I've seen the difference in...
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not looking at a person for what they got on. I'm not looking for a person for... I'm looking at your energy and your soul matches my soul.
Can you give me an intellectual conversation?
That's what matters to me. That part. But even with that, some people are intellectually smart and...
Yeah. No common sense.
Common sense ain't that common.
It's not. And my kids will tell you that.
Common sense is not that common.
It's not.
But
I tell these kids, like, you have to do what you want to do. You have to find your lane, what makes you happy. It's not about your parents. It's not, So my children, I have 3 kids, and my children's father went to a PWI. He has 1 degree. I went to an HBCU. I have 3 degrees. They will hire him before they hire me because of where he went to school at.
Wow.
So getting them to
But is it just that?
Right? Because it matters.
No, but is it just that? But I feel like gender matters.
Gender does matter.
So that's a problem that I faced going into the corporate world. I was in the corporate world, right? And me and my friend, we went to college together, and we had an argument at the workplace because I'm trying to explain to him, like, I got a lot of stigmas against me, for one, right? I'm black. I'm a female. Mm-hmm. I don't dress like the typical female.
Yep.
I have all of these different things. You're a man.
Yep.
Yeah, you're a black man, but you're a man at the end of the day. They're going to see you before they see me. I'm just another. So anything that I do, I got to go hard.
Yep. I
got to go hard because I have to, again, prove myself to somebody. And that's the thing that bothers me a lot. And that's why a big part, when I got laid off, I'm just like, yeah, I didn't give them nothing to fight for because I was a terrible worker. Let's just be honest. Yeah. Not a terrible, I just did what came. I'm here to do the job, and that's it. I'm not doing anything extra.
But I
was miserable.
That what is meant for you
will never miss you.
Will never miss you.
100%.
It will always be yours. And we look at people getting promotions, getting this, getting that. We don't know what these people went through to get these jobs, these titles, this recognition. And I see that just from the behind the scenes of going out with people and being in that arena, as well as my speakers. Like, I see the groundwork that goes into this.
Yeah.
I mean, just hearing some of the stories, it's like, I don't want this life. I got a peace of mind. When I go home at night, I decompress.
I feel like everybody got a peace of mind.
Oh, but it took some time to get here.
Yeah. For sure.
But once you get that peace, man, can't nobody tell you nothing.
Man, I sleep comfortably in bed
Period.
By 10 p.m.
Period.
By 10 p.m.
Yes.
So, I saw that Voyage and, what is it called? Shout out Atlanta. They did multiple pieces here.
Right.
Multiple.
So they reached out to me a couple of weeks ago to do a follow-up just to see the transition and where I was to where I am now.
But that was just for what? Shout out Atlanta.
Yes.
But Voyage also did more than one piece on your correct?
Yes. It's been good. I mean, it's just, like I said in my post, I love sharing my story of what happens in Dr. Morrow's marketing class. Mm-hmm. Because it's always a new journey, it's a new experience. Yes, Dr. Morrow marketing class, Morrow marketing class. Because you just never know who's going to show up. That's the beauty of it. Because
so I was just about to say, do you tell them before?
So I don't tell the kids. I do tell my administrator because the way it's set up, you have to, I turn in a list at the beginning of each week. Mm-hmm. This is who the person is. This is the time that they're going to arrive. And this is who's coming with them. So like if they have a videographer or whomever, I have to turn those names in because when they come, they're going to be expecting them with their ID in hand. So no, I try not to. But depending on who the person is, just for security reasons.
I've never seen them do it. And I'm not saying that I follow these pages in depth. I think one of them just sent me an article to do that you sent them to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen them do multiple pieces on people or follow-up pieces. So I guess you gotta
even follow up either.
Yeah. See,
you gotta be Dr. Morrow. Okay. No, I'm just playing. It's been good though. It's been like I said, I don't do it for the recognition. I do love the recognition because in the recognition it's bringing more awareness to the class. And in that, more people contact me to come out and share their story. Because everybody likes to talk about themselves. I mean, it's just, we're human.
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm just giving them the platform to do it.
Do you consider your class a viral class?
We've gone viral for quite a few things, actually.
De'Ara one went crazy.
And then the fact that her blog, I was like, somebody text me, I don't even know what it was. It was like, I'm so proud of you. You made it to the blog. And I was just like, can you send me the link?
I watched it. I was
like, oh my God, this is incredible.
The relationships.
Yes.
I will forever say.
I DM'd you too. I was like,
yes, I remember that.
Same, when I see the same.
Because I figured she was going to like at least put in her blog. So like.
So speaking of relationships, I have a speaker that is coming out next week. And the kids are going to be so excited. But relationships, I met her when she first started her career. And she has been with me through every school each year.
Can we know who she is?
I'll tell you later.
So this is not going to air until
okay.
This is not going to air until December, like December.
Okay, Okay, perfect. So it's Vina. I know her as Vina. You all know her as I Am Pretty V.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I heard of
The light skinned one.
Yes.
She's
always on Nancy Banks on the skits.
Oh, wait. Oh, I do know.
Yes.
Okay, I do know.
Okay. So I met Vina when she first started, and just seeing this incredible journey of hers. I was honored as Mother of the Year one year, and her mom was honored with us. So she was there, so she got to meet my mom, and I met her mom. And literally, we've been rocking since. And I texted her at the beginning of the year. I was like, hey, I'm at a new school. Can you come out? She was like, absolutely. But she ended up canceling the morning of because something happened. It wasn't her fault. And I was just like, no worries. I can definitely understand. And then she texted me last week and was like, hey, can I still come out? I was like, absolutely. So she'll be there next week. So I'm excited.
Nice.
But relationships. They matter. They matter.
Yeah. You have done things that I ain't never seen the average teacher.
Yeah.
You said you went viral multiple times, right? You have created relationships with some very big names, and all for your students.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how does that put you in, or your students, in a position where it's just like, I'm gonna keep this going forever?
I've had kids that will tell me in class, Dr. Morrow, when I make it, I'm gonna come back and talk to your class. And I've actually had those kids to come back and talk to my class. Demoney, I'll speak on him. Demoney Harris, T.I.'s son. My kids love him and adore him. I'll never forget, it was Christmas, it was during COVID. He literally came to my house and brought my kids an Xbox.
Oh, wow.
And I was just, my daughter is obsessed with him. And he knows it. He came for her first dance recital. I think she was like 4 at the time. Bought her roses. Like, she loves him.
Mm.
And he has spoken to my class after he graduated. And now we're trying to work it out when he comes back to speak to my students now.
Nice.
And it's just like a full circle moment.
I was going to say the same thing.
It's incredible. And it's not even about him because of who he is. I've had another student, Reginald Kelly, who became a celebrity tattoo artist.
Nice.
And he was like in my second year teaching, and he has come back and spoke to my class. So that is what makes me, or keeps me going.
What is the biggest impact you feel like you made as a teacher?
As crazy as it sounds, it's not the biggest, but I love when I see my former students become a part of my sorority, as my sorority. So that's a great impact that I have. Just knowing that I've had some type of influence in that way. And even students that go to my alma mater, Albany State. But the kids that come back and say, Dr. Morrow, I really appreciate everything that you've done for me. Because at that point, that's when it's like, man, and I'm so emotional, and I just start crying when I read some of the messages. Mm-hmm. It's just unreal. It's, the positive words that they give me, and that gives me, and it always comes at the perfect time.
Right.
Like when I'm just frustrated, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not reaching out to no speakers, none of that. That's when those messages come through. So it's just like
perfect timing.
Perfect timing. So I must be doing something right.
Okay. I got one last. What do you feel like is the biggest thing that keeps you driving, right? I'm steering this boat.
So I'll say this. Last year I didn't bring in any speakers. None. This is my first year at the school, and I was really trying to get acclimated, and I was just frustrated, trying to figure it out. And my mom said, Quinita, those students, no matter how you feel about the adults, the students they deserve to see you for who you really are and what you're capable of doing.
Right.
And in that moment, I'm like, I guess so, Mom. So I made it my duty that I was going to start the speaker series back up. Mm-hmm. And I was only doing it twice a week. Mm-hmm. That was it. So now I'm at 4 days out of the week because I like to not wear makeup every day. But it was just that conversation that I had with my mom, and she was just like, these kids need it more than the kids at your last school did. So when she said that,
were in the schools with the $1 million loans.
Yeah, so it was just different.
They definitely.
But these kids now, they really appreciate what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And not that matters, but it's like,
no,
it
does though, because it keeps you going.
It does.
It's like the fuel to your car, right?
Yeah. And then when they leave, I'm like, okay, y'all, what did y'all really think? And then they're like, boom, 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 and they go down this list, and it's just like, these are aha moments for me, because now everything that I'm teaching you.
Have you ever had a situation where you didn't notice something, but your students did, and you're like,
oh, all the time. Because the crazy thing about it is some of these speakers, I meet the same day that the students meet them.
mm.
Because I always take their requests. Like, no offense, I absolutely love De'Ara.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was phenomenal. I had no clue who she was. I didn't.
Yeah.
I had no
She
clue.
started out with like De'Ara and Ken, and
that's what the kids were telling me, and I was so impressed with
her
her.
marketability is.
Let me tell you, she is amazing, incredible, super intelligent. Like, I was thoroughly impressed.
Right.
I'm talking about from top to bottom. She was it. So I take their requests. So a lot of these people I don't like. They're repeat speakers for me, of course. But if it's somebody new and I've never met and it's their request, I meet them the same day the kids do.
Nice.
So
you get to be an observer.
yes. As well. And those are the moments when I learn the most. And I learn a lot from their questions. Because it's like, how did you think of this question to ask? And you did that just based on the conversation of how they
okay, so you take requests, right? But what if they don't know this person? Like you didn't know De'Ara
at all.
And so what if 50% of the class don't know who this person is? And so when they do come, you ever got to a point where it's like they don't have any questions or as much questions as you would like for them to have because they don't know who this person is?
So the speakers feed off of, the kids feed off the speaker. So they feed off of your energy firsthand. And because they've had so many speakers, they usually have the same list of questions and they try to compare it that way. So if you're a baker, all the bakers are going to get the same question. Or if you're a TV or makeup artist or something, you're going to get the same questions as the other makeup artists. But some of the questions are the same for the various speakers. So it just depends. But they feed off the energy of the speaker. And if they see it's going left, somebody will say, well, thank you for coming out to speak to our class, blah, blah, blah. But when I say everything is in a respectful way, everything is respectful.
I'm glad to know. So when we go to speaker class and they be like, thanks for coming out. I know.
But they do. They feed off of the speakers. We haven't had this year. I don't think I've had one that was just like the kids were like, yeah, no, this ain't it. Don't bring them back. No, I haven't had those moments, but I have in the past. They were like, Dr. Morrow, this ain't it. Don't ever bring them back. So,
do your children,
mm-hmm.
Do you teach them the same kind of?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So my kids, it's so funny because, like I said, with the whole makeup thing, I had to get up earlier to put on makeup. So every day I come home, my son, my middle son especially, he's like, Mom, who was the speaker today? And I say, oh, it's a baker. So where's the cake? Like, did they bring anything? Why didn't they bring anything? So anytime people bring stuff, I keep some to take home to my kids and let them taste it, and they'll tell me, oh yeah, we like this, or no, we didn't like that, or this is not as good as the other person. So I always share that way.
Come to the speaker series?
No.
Mom can.
Yeah, my mom is
Mom can.
It just depends. Like if it's somebody, of course my kids are younger, but if it's somebody that they know, I would. Because when I told them about De'Ara, my daughter was like, oh yeah, Mommy, she's on YouTube. I'm like, how do you even know she's on YouTube? So she watched the whole video and everything. But if it's somebody that I know that they would know, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I'm molding my children to be entrepreneurs and just business minded in general as a whole.
I feel like everybody, even if you want to work a 9 to 5,
absolutely.
I feel like you should still have some type of.
You gotta have a hustle.
You have to.
You gotta have that hustle mentality.
But the thing is, hustling is one of those things, right? It gotta be in you.
I was just about to say, you can't teach that.
You can't teach nobody to hustle.
You can't. And
I'm from New York, and like we from the hustling capital, right? And so coming here, and I see certain people, I be like, I don't understand.
I look at my own kids. Like I have 3. I have 2 boys and a girl, and my daughter's the youngest. My youngest 2 are a spitting image of me, like hands down. Me all day, personality, talking wise. My oldest is more quiet, reserved. He's all about his business. Mm-hmm. He don't have time to play. He don't want to have a conversation with you. He's like, okay, this is the task. I'm about to get it done. But them other 2, they gonna ask you 100 questions. Where are you from? Like, what added value can you bring to this conversation?
That's how it goes.
Yes.
My friend told me one day, every relationship is transactional.
Yes, it is.
And I argued that. I'm like, I don't believe that. That means you're a user to some degree, and it's, no, that's not true. It's just not. It doesn't have to be a using thing. It's just.
So I don't look at it that way. I look at it from a network. So aside from the branding and marketing in the first day of class, I go around and say, what does everybody do career-wise? Like, do you have a job? Where do you work? What do your parents do? Mm-hmm. And
I didn't ask that, but I did ask them, what do you do? If they don't tell me, how can I help you? If I got all these resources, I want to share my resources with you, but I can't do that if you don't tell me.
No, what do? You work at Burger King? You work at Foot Locker? You work at Burlington? My student today was like, she worked at Burlington. I said, what's the discount? What's the discount? Like, it's not about using people. It's about networking. You work at Burlington. You work at Popeyes. Oh, I love Popeyes. Oh, I love Burlington. That's a network. Like, you got to look at it and stop thinking that you're using someone. But you can't teach.
You know what it is? Well, that's different. Okay, never mind. Telling you, my brain be scattered. But, okay. I keep saying it's one more question.
Well, I'll say this while you're thinking about that. When you ask me, how do I view myself or whatever the case may be, I learned this from a speaker that I had. He was Desi Banks' I guess, agent. I'm not sure. Can't remember his name.
Until you farted.
But
I'm sure.
He said something in my class, and I say this everywhere I go because it makes the perfect sense. You can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
Okay. That's true.
You can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
100%. I never thought about it.
Yep.
From that perspective, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Where do you see you as a teacher 10 years?
Prayerfully, I don't see myself as a teacher.
You will throw it in the flag.
It's just, education is changing.
Not for the good.
Not for the good.
I see the way they teach them math. I'm like, oops.
I mean, just in general, it's changing.
I think it got to a point where the teachers were lazy. And I think the pandemic, and these teachers don't care.
And that's what bothers me. Why are you here?
For a check.
When I got to the school, they were like, "Are you really gonna teach us?" What you mean?
This goes back to the conversation we had about being in a place where I'm doing it for a check versus doing what makes me happy.
Yep.
Right? That goes back into the American dream change. And the American dream is whatever you make it. But if you're going to live your life miserable for a check, chasing money,
but the kids are the ones that are suffering.
They don't care.
They don't. And I see it.
They don't care.
And that's the part that's frustrating for me.
Like the pandemic showed us, the parents could barely care. Right?
Yep.
These kids wasn't... They're doing, today's a virtual learning day. What is a virtual learning day? That means you're lazy, you don't feel like you're not
First off,
so I'm
don't knock the teachers now. Because we need those days. Let me tell you.
Back in the day, that wasn't a thing.
No,
it was
not. It was not. We didn't have all these breaks either. We did not. Every 6 weeks, we out a week.
A week is crazy.
But we need this. Let me tell y'all. It's just a whole reset. Like my trip this weekend.
But are you really gonna reset if you're still teaching? If you're taking a day,
you're not.
You're not. You just
like even on my field trip,
the lazy way. You're working from the bed.
Yeah. Oh no. We still have to come to work. We don't get those days off.
You guys, not every school is like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's It's hard. And like I told you, when I met you at this school, I can only control these 4 walls. Like, I have a great friend of mine that I used to work with. He said, control the controllables.
Right.
You can't control everything, but just control what you can. And what you can control is what takes place in Dr. Morrow's marketing class. And that's it.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
All right, we ain't going to keep you till tomorrow. I'm telling you, I got questions today.
Oh, I'll definitely come back.
For sure. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
It was
having
great
me.
having you.
Yes.
You taught me some stuff, right?
Oh.
And anytime I can learn something, but like you said, I'm like a student for life, like a life. Like, I'm a forever student.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my aunt told me, we should call me
It's fun.
a student of life. And that's really me. Any situation I take, I'm trying to take something with me.
You gotta constantly learn.
I think there was a clip with Denzel Washington where he was like, I'm gonna leave here with something. I'm leaving here with something. I'm always trying to.
I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Definitely was great having you.
Thank you.
We can't wait. We come in. What day are we on? January?
Is it January?
It's in January, yeah.
Okay.
It's like the second
Ready for my headshots?
Yeah. It's gonna be a great day.
Yes, definitely.
Follow Dr. Morrow's marketing class. And we got some.
Definitely. Oh, the food was amazing, as you can see.
Man,
Smashed it.
food sponsored by Cooking with Miss B. We had some
incredible.
fried whiting and grits.
The
And it
grits were
was
amazing.
definitely good.
Yes.
Cooking with Miss B, always great. She left us here today. Usually you think I have some questions? B usually have 10 with questions, but B had to run out, so. As always, the camera crew. She's not really a crew, it's just one person. She got enough equipment. She got enough equipment going on about 4 people.
Set up, break down thing.
What's great?
You did?
Her is with the Kelly thing she got going on. Julie, you ain't gonna peek your head in one day.
No, you see the work. That's what it is.
People want to see you. They
Go
want
to
to
my
know.
page. Go to my Instagram page.
She said, "Come to What's Great" on Instagram.
I'm a behind the scenes person.
So you should like me.
You were from the camera
Today.
She refuses to get in the camera.
Oh, wow.
She refused. I'm gonna get on there one day.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
She can be on the camera when she come to my class.
Oh,
Period.
Something like that. I can see that happening.
we're gonna have fun though.
Yes.
I'm thinking of some. I gotta. But yeah,
We gotta go with it now.
we gotta find some.
Conduct that research and be ready.
Man, so we gotta go up in there and like shut the whole thing down. I'm gonna think about it. I gotta think long and hard.
It's gonna be fun.
Cool. What if I think I just thought about something. I think I'm bringing some of my students.
Okay.
Sheesh. Sheesh.